That dog in the background.
So Alex, it's been a while since we last did this.
Yeah, it's been a few months.
And since then, there's been a whole new area added to the game, and with the new area is new characters. So we've done something similar before in the past where I've asked you to guess a character's weapon, element, personality. And we've also had you guess between if characters are 5 stars or 4 stars. I'm going to combine these today because there's 10 characters that have been added to the game since then, and I'd like you to have a look and see what you think of the new characters.
Sounds fun, let's go.
Okay, so the first character, and I'm doing these in order of the time they came out. So this is Kazuha.
Right. So I'm going to go with, what, sword user?
That's probably a good guess.
Yeah.
What kind of
Probably
personality
like
does that give you?
fire element.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, kind of personality I'd say kind of like, they don't really have much in this at the moment. They don't do much. I don't know, kind of silent-ish, but kind of knows a lot. So he's always in the background, but like usually knows the most out of the team.
Okay. I think you were pretty good there. So obviously it was a sword character. The element is actually anemo or air. And he's sort of like a wandering samurai poet style character. He is quite quiet, but he can hold his own. And yeah, he's pretty cool. A lot of people really like him. His abilities like group enemies together, which is quite helpful, and then you can swap to another character and do loads of damage to lots of people at once.
He looks quite cool. I like the little like maple leaf thing he's got.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite looking characters, I think. I really love how he looks. Okay, we'll move on to the next character. So this one came out after Kazuha. I'm going to show to you is Ayaka.
Right. I'd say potentially like ice.
Yeah.
She's quite friendly, but only to the people she likes. I feel like she'd kind of, anyone that she doesn't like, she just kind of ignores them, or not necessarily talks down to them, but just like doesn't see them quite on the same level.
Okay, a bit sort of high and mighty.
Kind of, I guess, yeah.
What about weapon?
I'd probably go archer. I feel like she's definitely like towards the back of the pack.
Okay, and what about maybe a role in the team?
It's kind of like supporty, not like healer, but it does a fair amount of damage, but isn't very tanky at all.
Okay, so we'll start with weapon. She's actually a sword welder as well. She is cryo, so you got that correct. And she's very much the main damage dealer of the party.
Okay.
And personality-wise, so she is the head of her clan, or she's the head daughter of her clan, and she is actually really friendly, but people think that she's too perfect, so they find it hard to get along with her, but she actually has a very friendly side to her.
Okay.
What do you think of her? Do you like her?
I do quite like her. I feel like they could have done more with her, like looks-wise. I feel like she's not that interesting to look at, so like with her backstory, it just doesn't quite add up properly.
Fair enough. Okay, so now you've had a chance to see both the new characters. I'm going to show both together, and you have to guess which one of these is the 5-star and which is the 4-star.
I know that... Wait, what are their names?
So we have Kazuha and Ayaka.
I know that Ayaka is like the daughter of the leader of the clan or whatever, but she doesn't seem that big and mighty or anything. Okay, I guess she is the main damage dealer as well.
That doesn't mean much because some of the best characters in the game, best 5-stars in the game are supports or healers.
I'd probably have to go with Kazuha just from the way that he's dressed and like his styling. It just seems a lot more interesting and like more put together.
Okay, so it's actually really mean here. They're both 5-stars. This is the only time we're going to do this. For some reason, normally they release a 4-star with a 5-star, but for some reason they sort of didn't for 2 in a row. But from now on, there will be a 4-star and a 5-star.
But yeah, that makes sense that they're both 5 stars.
Yeah, I think they both feel very 5-star-y to me, especially when you're actually playing the game. Okay, so moving on to our next character, we have Yoimiya.
She looks pretty cool. She reminds me a lot of Kazuha.
Yeah, I suppose everyone in this area has a very similar style of attire.
I think it's just the colours as well, they're very similar.
So what kind of weapon are you thinking?
I highly doubt she'd be a tank just from her outfit. And if she is, that's just stupid.
Fair enough.
I'd say potentially archer again.
Okay. What about element?
I'm gonna go fire.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'd go electric if it was more blue, but she's dressed in red with the sparkler, so you know, we'll go fire.
And what about sort of personality-wise, do you think?
Very like friendly, easygoing, in the air a little bit sometimes. Not always completely on track with what they're meant to be doing.
Okay, you were pretty spot on there, actually. So she is an archer. She is a pyro element. And she's very friendly. She's like really friendly with kids. She's great with kids. She actually makes fireworks.
Oh,
and so
cute.
all of her kit is about her like shooting fireworks with a bow. It's quite cool. I really like the idea behind it. And what do you think about her?
I really like her. Yeah, no, she looks really interesting.
Yeah, I think she's really cool. I really like this character. Okay, the next character we're moving on to is Sayu.
It's a very cute little girl. I don't know. Again, if there was like a grassy, earthy, like plant element, I'd go with that. But there isn't, and it's stupid.
There is. It's just not in the game yet.
Yeah, well, it should be. Because she's even got a little leaf on her head. Again, with an animal element as well. There should also be one of those, but there isn't.
Animal isn't an element.
But it should be. See? No. Probably air, I'm going to go with.
Yeah, an emo.
Yeah, and I want to say like magic, kind of like healer type.
A catalyst. Okay. Personality-wise?
I'd say, like, I don't know. It's probably just because she's a little girl, but like kind of like cute. Everyone kind of loves her. She probably has like a weird dark side to her that she tries to hide in front of other people, but...
Okay, so Sayu, you call her a little girl. I think she's actually a lot older than she looks.
Right.
And she's a ninja.
Okay.
She is a Nemo, so you got that correct. However, she's a claymore user, a great big sword.
Fun.
But she's a healer.
Okay.
Interesting. It's quite an interesting mix. I actually really like the combination. Do you know of the YouTuber streamer Lily Pichu?
Yes.
She voices this character.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, can you hear it?
Yeah.
Sort of? Yeah. And then her personality-wise, she's really lazy and sleepy all the time. So when you run around her, she's like, oh,
Is
I'm
that when
tired.
she turns into the little egg?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like a panda.
Yeah.
So now you've seen them both. Let's have them together. So one of these is definitely a 4-star, and one of these is definitely a 5-star. Do you have an idea of which you might be which?
I'd say just because it was voiced by Lily Pichu, I'd go with Sayu as the 5-star. I doubt they'd give like a really famous voice to a 4-star.
I like to point out, just because you know the voice actor, pretty much all the voice actors in this game are very famous as voice actors.
Yeah, but with the kind of type of game it is, I feel like everyone that would play would know who she is. And also it's the kind of like little girl, cute kind of like animal thing. It just feels like it's more likely to be.
So the real 5-star is actually Yoimiya.
Okay.
Yeah, Yoimiya has a big part in the story, at least early on. And yeah, she's 5-star.
Fair enough. I still think there should be an animal element because it would just make more sense.
Well, tell that to me, Harry. Moving on, we have Kujo Sara.
Right? She looks very interesting. Very purple. Probably, I want to go dark, but it's not dark. Like electric
Okay.
power. I'm going to go with spear user because why not? We haven't had one yet and they never show up apparently. She seems very like dark. She's probably got a whole side to her that no one really has access to except for maybe like one person that she's best friends with. Yeah, I feel like she puts on front a lot of the time and she isn't very friendly. No one really likes her that much.
Okay, so you guessed Electro, and she is Electro, you're right. She's actually an archer,
Okay.
and she's quite strict. I think she has a high up position in the military, and she's like sort of the right-hand man of the sort of leader of the government in this area.
Yeah.
And she's a bit more of a supporty type.
I think she's alright. I don't know, I think there's interesting, but not necessarily all there. I feel like they could have done a little bit more.
Okay, fair enough. I quite like her. I think she's quite unique in her style. So I'll move on to the next character, which is the Raiden Shogun.
Again, she's purple, so I want to go with electric.
I will point out, Inazuma is the Electro area, so
Okay.
that's a safe bet in this.
Yeah, I probably would go with electric then, just with the purple as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah, definitely electric.
What about a weapon?
I'll go with like the magic thing.
Catalyst.
Yeah, I feel like she'd be very supporty, not necessarily healer, but like in the back, like helping out everyone. I feel like she, not necessarily not friendly, but she's very like whimsical. She kind of like floats around between people a lot, not necessarily connecting with many people.
Okay, so she is Electro.
Yeah.
You definitely got that right. She's actually a spear user.
Of course she is.
Yeah. And she is the Shogun, or the leader of this area.
Right.
Yeah, so she's like the commander sort of in charge. She can be quite strict. Yeah, she's like the commanding leader of the force.
Yeah. I could always see that, but she seems very, like, too, like, floaty and, like, out of it to be potentially the leader. Like, she doesn't seem like she'd be strict and in charge.
Fair enough. So now, between the two, as I mentioned, one of these is a 4-star and one is a 5-star. Which one do you think is which?
I feel like Kujo's, like, outfit and style seems a lot more 5-starry. Like, she's got a lot more to her. But then again, Raiden is, like, the leader of the whole area, so I think I'm just going to have to go with Raiden for that.
Okay, fair enough. I'd mostly agree with you, I think. As in the style, Kujo definitely looks a lot more extravagant.
Yeah.
However, the 5-star is Raiden Shogun.
Yeah.
You're right. She's actually, if you remember, Venti and Zhongli are the archons of the area.
Yeah.
So is Raiden Shogun. She is the Electro Archon.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured, so yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a bit weird to make her 4-star.
It would, wouldn't it? Moving on to the next pair of people. First of all, we have Sangonomiya. We have Kokomi.
She's very cute. I feel like she's definitely like a water element just because it looks like there's droplets in the background. It's potentially air, but it looks more like water. So I'm going to go with that.
Hydro.
Yeah, so she actually looks really cool. I love her outfit.
I really like how she looks, yeah.
Like already I want to say she's the 5-star one because she just looks very well put together. Like there's a lot of detail in there.
Still think she's Hydro?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
A little fishy. Yeah, so I'd say she's potentially... I'd probably go with Magic again. I don't think we've had one yet, but she...
No, we haven't.
Oh, just realised it says.
It does say, I noticed that. I forgot to take that out.
Yeah, well, she's definitely a Magic user.
What kind of position in the team do you think she'd have?
I feel like she does quite a lot of damage, but she's like in the middle of the team, so she's very much not tanky at all. But she's probably the main damage dealer.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of people like her, not necessarily look up to her, but they always care about her and make sure that she's protected.
Okay, so funnily enough, she is a Hydro user, and she is a Catalyst user. Not that you had any hints.
It says Hydro at the top as well.
It does also say Hydro. We'll ignore all that. And she is actually a healer. She's very, like, her whole kit is all about healing the rest of your team. And personality-wise, she's the divine priestess of the Watatsumi Island. So she's like very sort of pious, and I also really like how her sort of dress looks like a mermaid tail.
Yeah, it's really cool. She's got like the little fins by her hair as well.
Yeah. So do you like her? Would you?
I really like her. I think she seems the most interesting so far out of the group that we've seen.
Yeah, she looks really cool. Okay, I'll move on to the next character. So this is Toma.
Right. He's interesting. Looks kind of like a lion.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'd say probably like the fire pyro again, just with the red. It just kind of suits him. He seems very like dark and kind of grungy. Gonna go with he's a spear user.
What makes you think that?
Might have actually got the first spear ever.
That actually might be the first spear user you guessed correctly.
Yeah, so he's probably like not necessarily main damage dealer, but like second damage dealer kind of in the team.
Like a burst damage, sort of pop him in, do some stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Like, very quick, kind of like go in, does what he needs to do and gets out again. But yeah, like very grungy. Not necessarily the friendliest person in the world, but a lot of people appreciate what he does.
Fair enough. So he is a spear user, surprisingly. And you were right, he does use pyro. And he's a bit of a weird position. He's like a supporty off damage sort of character. He has abilities which sort of give you shields and stuff. Quite interesting. As for his personality, he's the housekeeper for Ayaka's clan, the cryo samurai that we saw near the beginning. But he's like a big sort of front man in the community. He like works with everyone in the community. Okay, so of the two, do you have any idea who may or may not be the 5-star and who will be the 4-star? We have Kokomi and Toma.
I'd have to go with Kokomi. She just looks so much more interesting. Like she's the priestess or whatever of the island. She just seems a lot more interesting, a lot more important. Like her outfit is so much better put together.
And you'd be right, yeah. I do really like how Toma looks, and I think he has quite an intricate design on him, but I also agree that Kokomi's outfit is very extravagant and it looks really nice.
Yeah, I feel like Toma's outfit's alright, but it's very basic. It feels like things that we've seen before, whereas Kokomi is completely new.
Yeah, it's very unique, isn't it? Moving on now to our next pair. So first off, we have Goro.
He looks cool. Again, should be animal, but just isn't for some reason.
I really like him. He looks really cool.
Yeah, his outfit's really cool.
Yeah, I love the colours. It's one of my favourite colours, I think, that sort of cyany blue colour.
Yeah, it doesn't give away anything about him, which is really annoying. I think the only thing that I can potentially get is the bottom of his like trouser things. They look kind of like waves. So I think from
they do, don't they?
I might go with water.
Hydro.
Yeah, that's my only hint that I've got so far. We might change seeing on the animations, but we'll see. With the butterfly, he should be animal, but he just isn't. Don't know why.
So what are you thinking weapon-wise?
So weapon, I'd probably go with sword. I feel like he's quite tanky. He kind of gets in there. He's at the front of the pack, but doesn't do an amazing amount of damage.
Yeah,
but
he definitely gives off the sort of that kind of vibe.
yeah, he's kind of like a protector. He's very like angry and disgruntled about everything, but like he understands what he needs to do. Like he still cares about everyone, but he doesn't like showing it.
So this Goro is a Geo character.
Right. First one we've seen, I think.
Yes, it is. And he is an archer.
Right.
And his role is very much like supporting. So his whole sort of thing is he can give his defense to other people, especially Geo characters. He's like, if you have a Geo main damage dealer, you want this guy with him to sort of give them a boost sort of thing. So in the game, he's the general of one of the armies, and he's like kind of trying his hardest to be like, oh yes, I'm a brave general, but he gets distracted by butterflies, and he gets teased a lot for sort of his sort of animal-like features. And he's quite short, so I think he's worried he comes off as a kid when really he's supposed to be this important figure. Next, we have Arataki Ito.
He looks interesting. Again, with the purple, I'm gonna have to go with electric.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks quite interesting. I don't know. Again, I feel like potentially like Claymore tank, kind of like he just seems, yeah, just very like strong and at the front of the pack sort of character. Yeah, I feel like from that he cares a lot about what he looks like, cares a lot about what other people view him as. Like he's got a lot of his body on show.
Yeah. Okay. So he's actually a Geo character, but he is a Claymore user, so you were correct, and he's an interesting one. So he's like a main damage dealer, but almost all of his damage comes from his defense instead of his attack. So he sort of uses his defense to empower himself. He's actually the leader of a gang, calls himself the One and Oni, or the Crimson Oni, you can see from the horns.
Yeah.
And I really like this character. He's one of my, character-wise, I really love who he is. Like, he's one of my favourites of the Inazuma bunch, I think.
Yeah. He is very detailed. Like he's got the little, what's that, lion heady type thing.
Yeah, it's like an Oni.
Yeah.
Like you know what an Oni is, like a sort of demon sort of style thing. So now you can see them both. Which one of these do you think's the 4-star and which one's 5-star?
I feel like even though Goro was like the leader of a clan.
He's a general.
He was the general. I feel like Ito looks more interesting. Like he seems a lot more together in a way.
He's definitely strong.
Yeah. I don't know.
Physically.
I feel like I would go with Goro as the 5-star, but Ito, like the plaits with like the different coloured bits going through them, like his little horns and even like the belt, it just seems a lot more intricate. So I'd probably have to go with Ito as the 5-star.
It's very extravagant. And you're right, he is the 5-star. These two, funnily, their personalities would clash so much, but as a team, they work so well together. It's like they were made for each other.
Yeah, I mean, they are both Geo.
And I didn't ask you before, actually, what do you think of these characters? Would you play with either of them, do you think? Just going off their looks and
I think I much prefer Goro. He seems a lot more interesting. Like, Ito looks fine, but yeah, I prefer the kind of like more interesting backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, I really like them both, to be honest. I think both of them look and feel really cool. So now you've had a chance to see all 10 of them. Are there any that stuck out to you?
I think Sayu's design was really cool, having like the little panda thing extended to the weird like panda egg.
Yeah, she's very cute. I didn't actually mention this, but not her like super ability, but her skill. She rolls up into a ball and rolls around really fast, knocking into people like a bowling ball.
I think, yeah, she's definitely one of the ones that I'd probably play a lot more.
She's very fun. Yeah, I definitely.
It's similar to her with like Goru, with his whole like fox kind of aesthetic. I think he'd seem quite interesting. The whole thing about being really short compared to everyone else is quite funny. But I think ultimately Kokomi is probably my favourite. Like, mermaids are quite cool. And she's like the first time we've seen someone be an animal but not like a normal animal, I guess.
She's kind of dressed like one.
Yeah, so like even though she's got like the kind of animal aspect to her, she's not completely that kind of thing, and also it's not like a typical real animal. like it's made up one.
I see you seem to like the animal style characters.
Yeah, I think they're just cuter. I don't know. I don't like, whenever I play games, I don't like playing with people. I like playing with things.
Like Pokemon.
Yeah.
So that's it for today. As I mentioned in the video, it's been a while since I've recorded anything, and that's because I took a break from Genshin for a few months, but now I've picked it back up again, and I'm catching up. You may have noticed I got a few things slightly off in the video. That's because at the time of recording I wasn't very far through Inazuma. I have quite a few videos recorded and planned, so if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more, consider subscribing.